show is on. The Paula Show. Come on, one and all. I extend an invitation to the Paula Show. Join in the conversation. Transforming behavior, recognizing our savior, overcoming hurdles, achieving dreams. Together we can succeed.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Paula Show. Tonight, our guest is Dr. Jose Humphreys, and he has over 15,000 clients worldwide, not only in Antigua and Barbuda, but his clients stretch across several geographies. Impressive, I must say. And he's studying internal medicine at this time. We're going to hear so much more about him tonight on the Paula Show. And we have some demonstrations on set. And we have lots of lovely prizes here tonight. And a beautiful audience. Thank you for staying with us on the Paula Show. Don't go anyplace. We'll be right back after this commercial. Thank you for staying with us on the Paula Show. Remember to watch the Paula Show on Tuesday nights at 9 via CTV Channel 2. And there's a rebroadcast on Sundays at 1 in the afternoon. Like me on Facebook, The Paula Show. Send me an email at thepaulashowtv@gmail.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, The Paula Show TV. Let me hear another welcome for Dr. Jose Humphreys. All the love from the Paula Show people. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great about it.
Very good. I remember working with you in media many, many years ago. I'm still in media and you're a doctor. I mean...
That's almost 20 years.
Don't say the number of years. I was hoping you didn't say that because then they'd start calculating how old we are. And I want them to think I'm about 35.
That's all right, we wear it well.
All right, so you're a medical doctor now.
Yes, I am.
I actually thought you were a herbalist.
No.
Medical doctor.
Medical doctor, yes.
With over 15,000 patients.
That's correct.
Globally.
Yes.
Most doctors in Antigua, their clients are within Antigua or maybe within the OECS. You service customers, I mean, where?
All over. I have patients even as far as Germany.
Do you speak German?
A little bit. I did part of my training in Germany, in Nida.
So if you have to write a prescription, you write it in German?
Well, actually, the area...
I'm just asking.
The area I was staying in Germany was actually an international hospital, so they spoke
Okay.
very, very good English.
All right. So where did you study medicine?
The American International School of Medicine, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia.
So you were living in Atlanta for a while?
Well, I was traveling all across. I was in Bronx for a while. I was in
Oh,
Chicago.
I'm a New York girl. He's talking my language now. Speak on, sir.
Yes, St. Barnabas Hospital.
Yes.
I was all around the U.S. Doing my training. And then I left to go to England after.
All right. I'm a communications consultant, and I am a member of the PRSA, the Public Relations Society of America.
Yes.
Are you a member of any medical association?
Yeah, well, I am actually the director for Antigua for the Caribbean College of Family Physicians.
Really?
Yes, it's the equivalent to the Royal College of Physicians in the UK, which basically oversees doctors' practices across the United Kingdom, but the Caribbean College oversees the practice of family medicine across the Caribbean. So I am the director for the Antigua chapter.
So you're overseeing the practice of doctors in Antigua
well,
as the director?
Well, basically it promotes the interests of family medicine practitioners across the Caribbean. So that is the main function of the Caribbean College. You know, it's a group of medical practitioners who have a specialty interest in family medicine, and I was appointed back in 2013.
Okay. And you're still the director?
Still the director. Also, I function as the representative for Antigua for the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh.
Dr. Jose Humphreys, he looks so unassuming, but do you know that their students live in Canada and the UK to travel to Antigua, and you're their lecturer?
I'm actually their preceptor.
Preceptor?
Preceptor.
I thought you were what's a preceptor?
It's basically the same thing, but the preceptor is more of a practical nature as opposed to a theoretical lecturing capacity.
All right.
Yeah, so it's more like the apprenticeship. They come, they understudy the practicum aspect of medicine.
So they watch you working?
Yes, and I mean, those who are competent enough will have hands-on experience also.
I don't like that kind of thing. When I was, now you're going to know how old I am. When I was at the Halberton Hospital, giving birth to my children, they brought all these young little newbie nurses. And I'm hiding my private part and covering over because I just felt these are young little people. They're not supposed to be seeing me, an adult. Do you understand? And the doctors just had me exposed. I am so not liking that. That's the same thing.
Well, the truth is, a lot of people who, when I started this, who would have understudied me, they're actually older than I am. So you have people from a wide spectrum of the society, different ages, different ethnicity, and from different areas in the world. And they bring together a cultural span that one can appreciate. So it's a nice experience.
It's a nice experience, but I just don't like people looking at me unnecessarily. I'm sorry. It's just me. You have a very impressive resume. And seems as if you can work any place in the world.
Yes, but Antigua is home for me. I do have a practice in Montreal also.
Excuse me, 1 second. He said Antigua's home for me, and somebody said, Don't you expect the doctor to go anyplace else? You guys want him to stay here all the days of his life? Seems as if you have some fans here.
Well, I've been told that by a few that they'll jump into my suitcase if I decide to leave.
But they'll die. They need oxygen, unless they think that you'll resuscitate them. But you have a practice in Montserrat?
Yes, I have a private practice in Montserrat. I worked for a while for the government of Montserrat as a casualty officer. I worked also in the internal medicine department with Dr. Gopal. When he went on vacation, I was his substitute doctor there. I have not worked there since 2014 because my practice here is just booming, thriving, and just trying to find more time in the day to take care of.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Children?
Yes.
You know you have to spend time with your family. So
Yes.
as much as the business is booming, you make time for family.
And then there must be time for them to eat too, and I have to provide for them.
That's a smart answer. You need to clap for the doctor. I love that response. So the next time anyone in my family tells me that I'm working too hard and we need to engage in some extracurricular activities, I'm going to say, but you guys have to eat, so I have to work.
Just stay home a while and don't bring home a paycheck, and they'll change their minds.
Do that?
Yes.
Oh, but I'll have a problem, because then I won't be able to get some things that I need. And I like things. Well, coming up next on The Paula Show, we'll be speaking about, are you consuming too much water? Are you consuming too much ground provision? Diabetes, hypertension, and so many more issues will be spoken about on The Paula Show tonight. So stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages. Tonight on The Paula Show, we're speaking with Dr. Jose Humphreys, and I have a beautiful audience. Do you think that you're a beautiful audience? I just love the confidence level. I am going someplace that has become very problematic for a lot of people. How much water should we consume each day? It's a simple question with no answers. Studies have produced varying recommendations over the years, but in truth, your water needs depend on certain factors, including your health, how active you are, and where you live. And this is an article from the Mayo Clinic. Now, my dear audience, you've been hearing all your life that we should consume 8 glasses of water per day. Yes. Sometimes you hear we should consume 6, yes, and sometimes 4. What should we be doing?
Well, as the article just said, it varies from individual to individual. But there is a simple method of calculating that.
Okay, good.
You take your weight and you divide it by 2.
Your weight divided by 2.
And that's the amount of ounces of water that you should have in a day. So if you're 80 pounds, you should be having 40 ounces of water in a day. And it's a good recommendation because the 8 glasses can't fit for a person who is a small child, as opposed to a person who is big, a person who may be taking part in sport activities, etc.
Know that? So what's my weight? I'm not telling. Divided by 2, and then...
And that's the amount of ounces.
Ounces.
But of course, that also has a limit because a person who is 400 pounds to consume 200 ounces of water, it's not a good recommendation because anything in excess, yes, is going to be dangerous. And you can have a dilutional phase that can actually cause sudden death if you drink too much water because you're...
Really?
Yes, you're diluting your electrolytes, the sodium, the potassium, and the chloride. And you can have altered mental acumen, you can start to hallucinate, you can actually have a heart attack as a result.
Can you imagine something that's supposed to be so good for us can kill us?
Of course. And I mean, another thing that can happen, you can have what is called third space filling. In other words, the water can no longer be contained in the vessels, and the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it starts to spill it into the third spaces. The lung is one of the main areas that can occur, and a person can actually die.
Yeah, because then water in the lung suffocate, right?
They actually drown, you know, and it's a real thing that happens. And you have a lot of people who get involved in the healthy lifestyle, but sometimes they go overboard doing the things that that are recommended for them and cause ill health in the meantime.
I'm glad you said that because you're of the view that someone can over-exercise.
Of course. Of course. I have this standing joke. I tell people I don't run, I don't jump, and I don't climb. I walk. I have so many persons who come to me with a lot of joint issues, and that's because of the repetitive stress that occurs from running. And, you know, as you age, the body cannot sustain.
I have the perfect excuse. I have a personal trainer, and the last time I was with him, he had me jumping. So what you said? Because when I return on Monday and he asked me to jump, I'm going to say, Dr. Jose Humphreys says, don't run, don't jump, don't climb. So all I'm doing today is walking. Okay?
Especially when you're over 40 like us.
No, I'm not over 40. I'm not liking my guests tonight. I'm not liking my guests tonight. So we can have too much water.
Yes,
we
definitely.
can exercise too much.
Definitely.
And we've been told to reduce our intake of rice and pasta and potato and all of that. We've been told to eat more ground provision. So can we eat too much ground provision?
That's another issue because you can have a lot of deficiencies that can occur when one enters into what is called a monodiet. When you consume one type of food over and over, the body needs a variety. And we must take part of all the food groups in order to have good sustenance.
Even fat?
Fat is important. The essential fats are important. That's how your brain functions very well. they're heart healthy. So the omega-3s, the omega-6 and so on, these are essential fats that are actually good for you.
Sugar?
We need sugar. The complex sugar is actually the best type of sugar that gives a sustained release of glucose over a period of time.
Salt?
Salt is absolutely important. Without salt, if your salt levels drop too low, you start to hallucinate. You start to have altered memory and or lapses in memory rather. So all of these minerals, micro minerals, they're very important to the system.
So why don't I just eat?
The issue is doing it too much. You must keep your salt intake below 1,500 milligrams of salt, or sodium rather, per day. And that's where reading labels come in, but I have my own take on that. Labels can be very misleading. There's some things in the labels that are not mentioned. And of course, the food industry has mastered the art of covering up these things, and I make no apologies for saying it. And the thing is, when you cook at home, you cook with love. And you cook for your family because you want them to be healthy. Outside, they're preparing things for taste.
No, 1 second. Epicurean is a sponsor of this show. Feel free to eat from the Epicurean Deli because we prepare nutritious meals with love. A clap for Epicurean, please. Thank you very much. As you were saying.
Yeah, so it's good to consume not just ground provisions only, because you need to have the essential fats, as I'm saying. You need to have the proper protein for building up of muscle. And remember, the heart is a muscle. Yes. If you're not getting enough protein from a simple state of an amino acid, the building blocks of the body, you're going to have issues there.
With my heart?
With your heart. With any part of your body, you're going to have muscle wasting.
So what I'm gathering here is that when we all decide that we're going to remove certain types of food from our diets, we're creating more harm than good.
If we're not doing it in the right way, we have to have a balance in terms of the food groups, the fats, the complex carbohydrates. You have to have your water, which is very important.
Yes.
Because a lot of people go an entire day, 2 days without drinking water. You have to have your proper fiber intake, because high fiber has been linked to a reduction in certain types of cancers, particularly colon cancer. A high fiber diet will also help with weight loss, because you are consuming foods that are going to be filling for a while, and not just give a burst of sugar and then you crave sugar more and you start to eat. You have a sustained release of glucose, and so the body is satisfied. And that's the essential thing that is needed there.
Satisfied. But let me see the hands of those persons who like juice. Don't be afraid.
Am I allowed to lift my hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, when the doctor lifts his hand, then more hands, because you figure that you have company now. What about those persons who like water?
Definitely.
All these people like water? Wow. You're watching the Paula Show, and maybe you haven't had any water for the day. Now is a good time to sip some water. It's a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Oh, it's lots of fun tonight on the Paula Show. The doctor has a sense of humor. And the perfect blood pressure is 120 over 80. So if it's 120 over 90.
Then you have the diastolic being a little high.
Right. So there's a little problem. We have to make some adjustments. Okay, talking about adjustments. Generally, when we have a pain in our side, we say it's gas. Could it be the liver? There's a problem with the liver?
It could be a variety of things. The liver is situated on the right upper quadrant of the abdomen.
Right upper quadrant. Right upper quadrant up
No,
here?
that's too high. You're more in this area here.
But that's middle quadrant.
This is
Do you
actually
have a middle quadrant? No?
this is actually the abdominal area here. So you're looking at the right upper quadrant.
Right upper somewhere around here.
Then you have the spleen on the left upper quadrant. Then you have the pancreas around here. and the epigastric area, which is here,
I said my side.
on the side. So you have the kidneys back here. So it can be a number of things. I think gas gets a lot of
Everything
blame.
is all over. Gas gets a lot of blame.
Yes, gas gets a lot of blame.
So when we feel that pain consistently, we need to check.
Go
the
and see a healthcare provider, because even certain types of neuropathic issues where the nerve becomes impinged in the lower back can actually cause pain across that area also.
Pain in the chest, is it always a cardiac arrest coming on?
Not all the time, and again, gas
Gas
gets blamed there also. But then if you have a pain in the chest, you should seek medical attention for that, because it could be related to the heart. And we have to be very mindful of that, because, I mean, if the heart cranks out, that's it.
Oh, Lord. But you know, sometimes you might be just resting. I don't know if it happens to you, and you feel some extra skips of the heart, and sometimes you feel like a sharp pain. I think it's gas. So I eat something, or I drink a cup of tea, a cup of milk or something. But if it's consistent, I
You have
need
it,
to
have
see
it
my-
checked.
I
Have
need
it checked,
to
yes.
check my healthcare provider. All right, stomach pain, acid reflux.
Acid reflux is a big thing. We have certain types of ulcerations. We have certain types of gastritis, that's inflammation of the stomach. And you know, a lot of people that I find, we live in such a busy, stressed life. We don't eat on time. You know, and it's waging havoc.
Somebody has been telling you about me. I'm not liking this discussion. It happens to me, but you see, and that's the problem. I don't eat on time, and then I'm really hungry, and I try to make up, and I think it's the making up that caused me to be fat, because you eat more than is required. Yes, I think it's the make up. Why you... You understand what I'm saying,
Perfectly.
my friend?
Perfectly.
It happens to you too, right?
I plead the fifth.
He pleads the fifth. But so stomach problems are not always
No, and you know, there is a
reflux.
thin line between gastric issues and heart issues, and so again, it's always important.
So my stomach could be an indication that there's a heart problem?
Well, we're using the word stomach in a very vague way.
Around
It
here.
may not be the stomach at all. The stomach is actually between here. The stomach is in this area here. Down here, we are dealing more of the pancreas.
But what about around here?
That's the area,
Rib?
that's the area of the pancreas. It can be long. It could be long. You know, so I mean, we have a compact area where the
I
organs
know.
are, and so it's always good to check it. Gallstones are another things that can cause
Cause.
pain in the right area here. Appendicitis. You know, so we have to, and there's certain types of presentation that we look for each of these, and so it's important to have somebody that healthcare provider who is
So
able to identify.
symptoms are different for all these
And
issues
some
that you're
overlap.
talking about.
Some overlap. So a detailed medical history and clinical presentation is important. Yes.
I remember when I was living in Freeman's Village, we had to walk from the village sometimes to the crossroad to get the bus, walk up Market Street to Antigua Girls High School, walk. But still, when we got home, we had energy sufficient to play netball and football and all of that. My children now is the computer. You know, just indoors.
When we deprive ourselves of the outside environment, oxygen,
Sun.
sunlight, vitamin D, absolutely important. That's why we're seeing an increase in degenerative joint disease, because vitamin D is absolute, D3 in particular, is important for the whole health of the joints. And it brings along a cascade of other issues. When the sun hits our skin, it breaks down that cholesterol to vitamin D. And so we're not getting enough sun, so that cholesterol remains high.
But then too much sun is also bad, even for us black people. Because you know we have this myth that we're black and the melanin protects us from the sun. But even us, this hue, we need sunscreen. Yes.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Why not?
Sunscreen has its own issues. We are built to be exposed to the sun. And the sun, if you notice, the more you're in the sun, the darker your skin becomes. That's a protective mechanism. It's the bad rays that are being filtered through the ozone layer now because of our destruction of the ozone layer. And that is what is causing a lot of issues with the sun.
So since I don't know when the bad rays are going to come through, I have to protect myself.
Sunscreens are actually toxic. There are a lot of toxic elements and chemicals inside the sunscreen.
You realize toxic means poisonous?
Poisonous.
Sunscreens?
Sunscreens.
Who said yes? So how come nobody ever told us this before? I never knew that. Are you sure?
I am absolutely sure. You're better off getting one that has a natural vitamin D composition to it, because that can be protective. But actually putting that chemical in your skin can be very dangerous.
So just expose yourself to the sun.
It never killed our foreparents.
Well,
Let's face it.
that's debatable.
We are facing so much of health issues that our foreparents never had. That's because we're taking away what they used to do, and we're replacing it with what we think should be done.
All right. Dr. Jose Humphreys, I really, really like you. But if you're going to take me back to slavery, we're going to have a big problem on the party show tonight. Me? In a cane field?
No, you don't have to be in the cane field.
I'm a house slave.
No, not at all. You just get some sunlight. Even if it means walking for half an hour every day, expose yourself to the sun.
No, you were taking me back to the plantation, and
Talking
about our forefathers.
in terms of eating the right way, eating food that are unadulterated, being exposed to exercise, being exposed to sunlight.
Your own chicken.
For those who is applicable for, because we live in a real world, and population is high, we can't eat everything natural, because mass production must be there so we can sustain life. But in the same breath, we are taking away the things that are important that we can actually do without avoiding. The sunlight, again, and I can't emphasize it enough. Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to cardiovascular disease, has been linked to that's heart disease, has been linked to joint disease, has been linked to many types of cancers, including breast cancer, prostate cancer, and a number of other types of cancers.
I'm going in the sun tomorrow. I'm serious.
A case in point.
I'll do more sun.
They did an autopsy on women over the age of 80 some years ago. And all of these women, they were black women. And they had osteoporosis, which is a degenerative disease of the joint, which is more likely due to calcium deficiency.
Yes.
What they found, well, all of these women died from aneurysms. That's when the main aorta, a vessel there, ruptured.
Yes.
And they found a lot of calcium deposits inside of those vessels. Why? Why do they have so much calcium in the blood vessels and they're still deprived of it in the joints?
Yes.
It's the vitamin D deficiency. Because it's the vitamin D that takes that calcium to the joint and allows the body to avoid taking it to other areas where it's not needed.
So I can take all the calcium capsules that I want, but if I'm not exposed to the sun
It will do.
to help that process to be completed, it does.
You end up with kidney stones because it deposits in the kidney. You develop with heart disease. You develop a lot of issues. As a matter of fact, I've never taken a calcium supplement. Vitamin D is what you should take. When you do some blood works, you hardly see calcium deficiency. Most people have enough calcium in their bloodstream, so it can't be an issue of calcium deficiency.
So you need D.
But when I measure vitamin D levels, you'll be amazed how many people have vitamin D deficiency.
In hot Antigua?
In hot Antigua.
But you know, I can understand that. How many of you drive in your vehicles every day and the windows are up, aircon?
And use sunscreen.
Not the sunscreen, but for me, I'm forever hot, so I'm always cooling down. And my vehicle, it's tinted too, so there's no sunlight escaping through that window. And I hardly move around in the sun. My excuse is, oh, it's so hot. but I need the sun.
Definitely. Even chronic pain, a lot of chronic pain is actually vitamin D deficiency. Joint pain and so on. If you take at least 4,000 to 5,000 units of vitamin D a day, it will
should be
augment your health, health in a miraculous way. Vitamin D is absolutely important.
I am going to take more vitamin D, and I'm also on a weight loss program because I read an article that says for every 10 extra pounds, you are decreasing your lifespan by a year. So if you are 50 pounds overweight, then that's 5 years shaved off of your lifespan. And if I'm supposed to live until I'm 95, I don't want to live until I'm 90. I want to live my full 95 years.
With quality health.
Yes, with quality health.
Yes.
So lots of vitamin D.
Yes.
I'm going to appreciate the sun a little bit more. A little at a time, because I'm not doing well right now. But I'm going to appreciate the sun some more from tomorrow. That's why I like when the experts come to the Paula Show and share information with us. This is information that I might have to pay to get at his office, but it's for free tonight. So enjoy the Paula Show. We'll be right back. Stay with us.